Hello students, welcome to my class. Today I'm going to begin the chapter 3. The title of the chapter, of course, you know on your page number 118, the movements of the earth. So we have talked about the different structures of the earth in the previous chapters, and perhaps you have understood and you learned many things about from that chapter. So today we will learn about the motion of the earth. So before we learning about the motion of the earth or the movement of the earth, we will come to know about the planet. For example, we have got the solar system, and in this solar system we consider the sun is the center of the whole solar system, and around this sun, around this star, the all other planets are actually revolving, and then they are making their ways perfectly, means they are perfectly, they are utilizing their orbits. Okay, so we should know that sun, for example, when we speak about the sun, you will come to know that it is the in size, when you speak about sun, is the largest size, is very much large in our solar system. It may say nearly 13,927 million kilometer. It is large in size. So 13,927 million, not a small, is not. When we speak about the 1 million, so you must remember 1 million, 10 lakh, is not 10 lakh, and when we lakh, is not 100 thousands. So it means when we speak about the 13 million, I mean the 13,927 millions kilometer in a size, it is very very huge, and it seems to be like from here very small, because we are far away from the sun. Okay, and suppose in this sun, like our earth will be emerge, how many, nearly 30 lakh, 30,000, like our this earth can emerge in the sun. So this much big the sun is, and this particular sun is actually making the a kind of like every planet to move around it, is it not? It means the gravity of this sun is making around it. Okay, so then we have to know about this solar systems, how it is each planet in fact revolving around the sun, and how many days is taking. So let us know about first of all the first planet which is closer to our sun is Mercury. Mercury, in fact, you can see that around 88 days, around 88 days it takes to revolving around the sun. So that one we can understand. Then secondly, we have got the Venus. This Venus, it is taking 224.7 days. Okay, 224.7 days to revolving once around the sun. And then the third planet, of course, we are belong to, that is our blue planet Earth. It is taking nearly 365 and a half days, is it not? So this half is calculated within the 4 years, and then it is calculated within the 24 hours. That's why in the month of February we are calculating after fourth year 29th, is it not? So that is how our Earth is. Then the fourth planet, that is the Mars. This Mars is taking 687 days to revolving around the sun. That is Mars, and of course Mars is almost closer to our Earth, and we consider that Mars is a red planet, because here we can see that soil is red. Okay, the rocks are seems to be very red looking. Okay, the next planet that we have got Jupiter. These are Jupiter, of course, is a very huge. I'm not going to give the whole details about the Jupiter and all, but later on, at any moment, we can discuss about the planet Jupiter. So Jupiter takes around 11.9 years to revolving around, and people are saying that Jupiter is not revolving around the sun. Sometimes you can see some scientists also have given the statement that way. So that is how the Jupiter is working. And then next planet is about the Saturn. This Saturn is actually you can see the Saturn is revolving around the sun, and it is taking nearly 29 years 5. It means 29.5 years it is taking to revolving around the this years. I mean the 29 not years but 29 this 0.5 we say you have to understand that how much it is taking. And the next planet is a Uranus. Uranus is a 84 years taking. So it's a very long time to make a round around this sun. And then last planet is Neptune. Neptune is a 60 years 190 days. 60 years 190 190 days. It is not a joke. Okay, so somehow these are all very actually like a unique the revolution is taking place in the solar system. And of course we have the another the nine planet. Of course we are not considering it as a planet, but today for example we are speaking about Pluto as a dwarf planet. So I think we have to understand about the dwarf planet. Okay, so Earth, we have discussed about the how many days are taking each planet to revolving around the sun. Now we have to understand about the Earth. Actually, Earth is a unique planet, and some areas like very cold, some areas very hot, some areas very deep down, some areas are very high above, some areas are very low, and some areas are slushy. It means the planet Earth is very much unique and a different looking at the different areas. So therefore here we can find also the season. Different seasons are taking place, and then according to the rotation of the earth. So again you can find it nearer especially we have the season like summer season, then a winter season, and these summer seasons are actually taking place due to the rotation of the earth and the tilting of the earth. Okay, so here we have the another aspect we have to understand about that this earth is in fact have the layers, and the first part that we have talked about in the previous chapter, that is about the crust. We've talked about the topmost layer, the second layer is a mantle, and then the third part is a core, that is the inner core, which is a like a full of lava and melted this lava, and it is a very like a hot. Okay, then we have also the atmosphere, which is actually working as a blanket to covering the earth from the ultraviolet sun rays, and this is how we can find out. And nearly 71% of this particular earth is actually covered with water. It means hydrosphere everywhere. But we have got 29% of the land where the human habitation, forestry, animals, and other activities are going on hand in hand. Okay, so these are the actually biosphere part, and then also biosphere we can see that here trees and animals are also existing. So these are the few things students that you have to know about the earth. Now we will come to the book, which is a very like important aspect of this chapter 3. Here suppose they are speaking that millions of years ago, you will find that our earth was not as we today see. It means the way we are settling here, the way we are living here, the way animals and plants have grown here, these are the not at all found in a millions of years ago, because at that time this particular planet was fully actually a kind of like a fire. Okay, a kind of fire floating and then revolving around the sun, and gradually this is saturated. This planet has been cooled down, solidified, and then even today we can see that it has not been solidified. Why? Because there's still the core. If you talk about the core and mantle, it is still the same process is going through. Okay, so here we have to understand about one person called he explained about the Alfred Wegener. He is a German geoscientist, and he talked about one theory called the theory of continental drift. It means in the beginning this particular earth was actually in the single kind of like a single plate, and then with the passage of time, this particular continental drift in fact has been splitted. And so when it was a single continent, which is known as the supercontinent, which is known as the Pangaea. So this particular Pangaea was actually supercontinent. It's a single continent, and then with the passage of time, this Pangaea has been broken into two separate land masses, and then it was formed the Laurasia and Gondwana land. Gondwana land. So these two parts have been divided, and over a period of time, these two land masses again began to disintegrate further into different land masses, and then gradually this particular land mass changed into 7 continents. So today we have got 7 continents or 7 plates, we can call it. So here some of the important this plates we have to learn about. So here how we can learn about the crust, that how it has been divided. Now see, the crust actually consists of 7 major tectonic plates or lithosphere, we can call it. So namely, there is a Pacific plate, then we have got like a North American plate, South American plate, then a Eurasian plate, African plate, and Indo-Australian plate, and then a Antarctic plate. These are all 7 plates in fact we find, and these are the actually continent which is a one way the other, each other they are colliding, pushing each other, dashing each other, and then these things are actually happening, and that's why there is a movement of this earth every now and then, and we can realize it sometimes, especially when there is a tsunami, when there is a like a earthquake, when there is a lava evaporation. So these are the part of this movement. So so these plates are actually continuously moving, and then the reason behind the movement of the lithospheric plate is the high temperature at the core of the earth. So we have to understand that is just the last layer of the this earth is actually the core. The core is the most dangerous. The more the core, in fact, making this particular 7 this lithosphere to move to each other, and that's why we can find it. And you can see that the heat actually generated by the core makes the tectonic plates move away or come closer. So this is one of the reason that is we have that we are getting the earthquake and tsunami and all. Okay, so let us know about the plate movement, how this plate is actually movement. Now the plate movement can be taken place 2 ways, that is a convergent plate movement, and second one is a divergent plate movement. Now let us know about the convergent plate movement, how it is taking place. Now see, this convergent plate movement is taking place especially when 2 tectonic plates move towards each other and collide due to the forces of the compression. And then when these plates actually collide, the rock layers of the earth get folded, and this process is known as the folding. So so that's why you can find there is a folding mountains are actually formed. So we have got folding mountains such as Aravalli, that is Aravalli, that we can see the Aravalli land, and then we can see the another form, that is okay, Aravalli is one of the this one. So these are the folding mountains are taking shape. So a fold mountain has a down folds or valleys, and a up folds or ridges, and known as the synclines and anticyclines or anticyclines. So respectively we can call it. Then the fold mountains can be categorized into old fold mountains and young fold mountains, also known as the new fold mountains. So now let us know about the old fold mountains. What is this old fold mountains? In the old fold mountains, when it is formed about more than 200 million years ago, it may say more than 200 million years ago, these old fold mountains have been formed, and these mountains actually have been eroded and have rounded peaks. The Aravalli in Rajasthan, that is one example we can see, and the Urals in the Eurasia are examples of old fold mountains. So I will be sending you the some image in your mobile and all. Okay. Then you will see that another second part of this fold mountains is a young fold mountains. Now what is a young fold mountains? Now young fold mountains are formed or were formed only 60 to 70 million years ago. Now you must remember, old fold mountains have been formed in 200 or more than 200 years ago, but 200 million years ago. Okay, and the young fall mountains nearly 60 to 70 million years ago. So it means a very young. And so these young fall mountains that we see, these are actually very high, and it has got the pointed peaks and all, we can find peaks. Okay, and then the Himalayas and the Alps are examples of the young fall mountains. So today we have got close by young fall mountains. This is one the concrete example, which is really dangerous for us. And recently, 1 week before, you have realized that there was a huge earthquake that has occurred in this region, especially in the Sunitpur district and all. And it was a very huge damage that has taken place in some of the town and cities. So I think you also had the jark of that on that day. So these are the young fall mountains, which is regularly there is a movement, and sometimes we can find that there are some scientists also is saying that this young fall mountains every time or every year at least 1 inch it is growing taller and taller, and this is very bad sign. This is very dangerous. Sometimes a huge like a collision may take place, and it may create the big damage. So we have to be really careful and alert. Okay, so these are the few examples that we have to see it. And the next one we will learn about the divergent plate movement. Now we have learned about the convergent plate movement, and the second one is a divergent plate movement. So this divergent plate movement actually occurs when the two tectonic plates where what is taking place? Two tectonic plates were away from each other, and due to the forces of the tension. So sometimes therefore some sort of force is taking place, and then this force actually making this particular plate to move away. So look there some examples. So due to the tension, vertical folds or cracks are created along the lines of the weakness in the crust. It means when you look at the crust, there is some crackness is taking place when there is a certain movement tension is taking place. It means the plate is creating a kind of like a gap to make this a particular plate to go upwards or to sideways or to slide the front ways like that. So here you can find that due to the tension of the vertical force or cracks are created along the lines of the weakness in the crust, and this process is actually known as the faulting. So faulting means this is the thing, and then sometimes a part of the crust between the cracks sinks down. So the first part of the picture you can see that cracks has taken place, and the second picture of the same line that has been sunken down, so it means a crackness. What it does actually, the crackness either it is a sinks down or it may be go up also, or maybe slide. So that type of also movement is taking shape. Then you can see that sometimes a part of the crust between the cracks sinks down and form a valley. Okay, form a valley, and then valley means what? Like a deep down. Okay, and when there is a water heavy rainfall and all, it is taking shape. Okay, so that is how. And then such sunken valleys is called rift. So that the down part is known as the rift valley, or okay, this one we can find in the mountain areas and all very often. Okay, then we can also find even in the plain also some areas have happened. Then what is again another thing is sometimes a part of the crust between the cracks is uplifted by internal forces. It means from the internal, when there is a two plate, when it is pushing each other, then the middle part of the crack can go upward, and then it may create the up valley. So today, for example, the like a Pacific plate and then a Eurasia plate, perhaps the collided, they dash each other, and then a new form of like things have been come out. So today we can see the Himalaya very high above. Okay, so that is we can understand by looking the mountains very high. So so sometimes part of the crust between the two cracks is uplifted by internal forces and forms a block mountain or horse we can call it. And the examples, the Vindhyas and the Satpura ranges in the India are the examples of block mountains. So these are known as the block mountains. So student, today I will stop here. So on the following day I will talk about the transform plate movement. So please you read it and you will understand the chapter very well. Okay. So thank you and I have a great day ahead.